Yeah, well, there's two things, when we throw out that phrase, or we need to forgive, and it's really important to understand what forgiveness is, but it's also equally important to know how do you forgive, how do you experience the impact, a result of forgiveness.
So, forgiveness, we've talked about what it's not. It's not condoning, it's not excusing, okay? But it is choosing to be free of the impact of what was done to you. And it's also choosing to commend that person to God's judgment, okay? And so we have to let go of our cause, and very often we do hold on to that. We have a right to be hurt, but we also have a right to be healed, and so it's a conscious choice. It's not a feeling, it is a choice. You don't have to feel forgiving. It's not a warm feeling that happens. The feelings may return later or they may not, but it's a conscious decision to be free of what was done to you. And you really do conquer that sin when you forgive it using your will, but you have to let go and give that person back to God and let Him be the judge. So people will say, oh, I can't, I want to forgive, but I can't, okay? And what we found is the easiest thing is, first of all, to bring out into the light all those reasons why you think you can't, because they're typically fears, and when you bring them out in the light, you realize how silly they are. If I forgive him, he'll hurt me again. No, he's already hurting you. Okay. In fact, because you're hurt, you're tender. It's like when you have a little burn on your arm. If anybody touches it, it hurts. Once it's healed, the same touch doesn't hurt. So only if you forgive will he stop hurting you. And it's because you expect him to change. That's the other thing is we hold on to it because we think that it's punishing him or her. Actually, anger and hurt, lack of forgiveness do much more damage to the vessel it's being held in than the vessel, than the person it's being aimed at, right? In fact, they're oblivious, probably, to your pain, right? So once you begin to really bring out into the light why you think you can't forgive, you realize you really can, because it is a choice that you're making, and you make it for the sake of your husband or wife and your kids. Because you see, we all sin out of our hurts, and we take it out on those around us. They're the ones that are going to get the brunt of it, and there's a concept that professional educators are using called emotional allergies that you bring into marriage. Things, that set your teeth on edge, things that you tend to overreact. We used to call them hot buttons, that set you off. And all they are unresolved hurts, things that you stuff. Because we all, we take a hit, somebody does something or doesn't do something, and it causes us pain. And so, we tend to mull it over, assign motive to it. He did that because he thinks I'm stupid. She did that because she doesn't care about me, until it's so painful that we can't stand it anymore. And then we stuff it and we bury it, but we bury it alive. Anytime anybody does something that sparks the memory of that, up it comes, and now I'm overreacting, and we feel out of control of ourselves, right? So, it's for that kind of freedom that we need to get rid of it. Otherwise, really, the one who's going to get the brunt of it will be Ronnie.
In order to choose to forgive, there's a certain realization that that we all need forgiveness. Okay, so we're so focused on the damage that was done to us. Okay, and yet we realize that every one of us was not born a vicious, mean, insensitive person. And just through our human condition, we have behaved in ways that have hurt other people. But we're all in this same condition. When we were talking earlier about injuries, mother wounds, father wounds, and so forth. When we're children, mom and dad are like superheroes. They're all powerful. They can do everything. And even as adults, we still carry some of that into our adult life, along with the wounds that we suffered as children. And at some point, we have to acknowledge that mom and dad are human. And we're human too. You know, and we're in need of forgiveness. And to forgive sin, you acknowledge that it's a sin. Yes, you were hurt. And unfortunately, the circumstances were such that, you know, they sinned, but we sinned too, and we need forgiveness. And so there's a letting go that takes place when we acknowledge the common reality that we all need forgiveness. And then it's a question of letting go. It really helps to actually speak the words, and it's not just a formula, but to acknowledge, okay, I was hurt, but I hurt others too, and I am willing to forgive and let go of this for the sake of the people that myself or others that are suffering, because I'm holding on to this hurt, and it's a hardness within my own heart that I'm carrying.
The trap we fall into with that is that if someone does something really egregious to us, okay, it's very hard for us to admit we're a sinner, because we would never do that to anybody, okay? So we think it has to be equal. But the fact of the matter is, before God, we're all sinners, right? You know, and we want His forgiveness. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive others. So, but it's very helpful. Ronnie made a point that bears repeating, is just as a way to forgive, I will very often pray, Lord, show me the brokenness in that person that made them the way they are, you know? And that's very helpful, because they kind of shrink down, because you think of them as a child and you imagine what has happened to them in their life, you know, that's caused that, right? And then you choose it, though. At the end of the day, it's still not a feeling. It's a choice.